Dornier Seastar and the Microsoft Online Mission Planner. I've been learning to use it, and here's what it looks like. Here's the Seastar, quite an unusual aircraft, quite fun to fly. Floats, of course. So here's what the Mission Planner looks like in online, and you register for this online because you already have a Microsoft account, so why not use it? So this is what the route looks like. I've already selected waypoints from Taco Harbor in Alaska to Atlin in Canada. Save. You can copy a link to share with friends, which is kind of a nifty feature. I created my own Seastar definition because the default one did not have correct numbers. This does. What good that actually does, I don't know. I don't believe this transfers when you transfer your mission files. But it's nice to have the correct numbers when you're mission planning. Performance numbers were also off a bit. I've corrected those. Now, one of the things you can do in here as well is you can note flight details. So you can create an adventure and share those details when you share the flight with friends when they load it up in the Mission Planner online. This is what you get. And of course, they have to load it and then save it to access it in the game. You can also set fuel and payload numbers. These do not appear to transfer. I think they're supposed to, but they don't appear to transfer. You have to set these numbers in the sim. So whatever number details you set here, you have to set again once you're actually in the simulation. I think this is probably a bug. I need to find out. You can actually set like 4,000 pounds of cargo here, and there's no way the aircraft would ever get off the water. I'm setting 2,000 here, but really I think that's about the limit of what it can carry, but those numbers don't transfer anyway. So, in the game, load from web, open the EFB, then choose load from web, choose the file that you want to load, the flight plan, and as you can see, it's loaded up and it shows the details here. Scroll down to make sure our destination is showing properly, and yes it is, Atlin, Canada. Send that to the ATC and avionics, and then you're going to want to set your passengers and payload, etc. You can do it from the screen, but it doesn't always seem to take. So instead, you click on where it says configure up top. Right there, set configure, set seats, drag the slider. In this case I want all my seats full. Cargo, around 1,000 pounds. Fuel, 40 to 50% is probably pretty good. It's a lot more than I'm going to need on this flight. Save config, which actually loads all these things into your aircraft. As you can see, it confirms that. And then you can close the planner, and you can load into Flight Sim, which, and with Service Update 3, is incredibly fast. I'm actually going to change the flight time of the year here into December because it's just much more lovely flying in Alaska in December. And we'll start the flight. You'll see how quickly it loads. I didn't cut any time out of this. It's just like almost instant. Pretty amazing. Running a very small cache, by the way, so it doesn't seem to make much difference, but I do have 64 gigabytes of main memory. Okay, now the first thing, two things I want to do. I want to get you a little bit closer in view. This is kind of a pain that even if you've zeroed your throttles, unless you zero them as soon as you enter the simulation, it acts as if you have not zeroed your throttles. I wanted to show you the wake turbulence in the back, which is so nicely modeled. You get a nice big compression wave at the back of the aircraft, which you won't see until the aircraft slows down a bit, unfortunately. But we will get a bit of a view as it slows down here. You can see that lovely compression wave. Limited sprays, much more limited. They've really done this nicely for the float planes. The update SU3 improved this quite a bit. There's some really nice wake turbulence and spray going on there. Next thing I want to do is just adjust the lighting so you can see the panels. Make sure your panel rheostat is all the way to the right. Okay, now we're set. Somewhere around 70 to 80 knots is where we're going to want to break off the water. At that point I usually just drop a notch of flaps quickly just to break me off the water, and that works well with the Dornier, and also other planes if they're other float planes as well if they're heavily loaded. And off we go into the sunset, enjoying this beautiful Alaska scenery. Okay, we have over 80 knots here. Drop flaps, and we will do that right now, and that'll break us off the water, and then right away raise those flaps again. Autopilot panel is quite easy to use. What I have not figured out yet is how to import the flight plan into the onboard computer so it shows up on the PFD. But the autopilot itself works great, and you can of course use the EFB for your flight plan. I tend to put that in another screen so it's not blocking up my view here. AP on, heading mode on, and then we can adjust that heading closer to our flight path, which is around heading 330. I'm running all settings on Ultra here, including the ray tracing and ray march, just because with the 9070 XT 16 gigabytes, it doesn't really seem to affect my frame rate. I still get between 60 and 100 FPS, and so yeah, why not run all settings Ultra then at 4K? Looks absolutely gorgeous. That's almost our correct heading now, and I'll adjust as we go. Get the altitude a little higher. Remember now when I did this I forgot to actually adjust the altitude knob, which is going to help me get a bit higher. Just pushing nose up and BS setting is not going to do it. As you can see, still set at 2000, so crank that up to 2400, and now we will begin a gentle climb. Dornier really skits along. I think I'm about 160, 170 knots here, something like 65% throttle. Interior is fully modeled, so if you don't see any passengers in this view and you had loaded passengers and cargo, then something did not transfer. It does happen occasionally, and my passengers are enjoying the flight. Those seats look pretty comfortable. Beautiful day here in Alaska. Beautiful plane, and with the lighting engine pretty much maxed out, you can see that what you get is, well, looks just about like a photograph. Get that heading just adjusted slightly here. As you can see, we need to head a little more north. Actually, if this is accurate, we need now to be heading probably around 010, something like that. Oh, my waypoints didn't transfer. We can fix that. Let's reload the plan and select, send to ATC and avionics. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we should be heading something like 025. And that's just about all I have to show you. It would be lovely to see the online flight planner transferring full into the FB. I assume that's a bug, and I'll try and find out. Some others might know who are more familiar with the flight planner. I really only use it for VFR, and for a long time I was flying only IFR, so still learning the ropes. But I like it as a tool. It's quite nice to use, and I like the idea of being able to share flight plans with friends. So there you go, Flight Doc Reviews. That's about it for today. Hope you enjoyed the introduction to the Dornier and the Microsoft Online Flight Planner.